So, stock sensor disassembled. This is kind of how it sits. There's a zip tie here and a little one right there. I took them off. 3 screws, unscrewed it, pulled that off. This bad Jackson has a spring here, and then there's this plunger that sticks out. So when you, if I can even press this in, it's kind of hard to press. You press it in, and it moves that way, yeah? And then similarly, when you pull it the other way, but yeah, you get the idea. It moves this rocker back and forth. Cool. That goes in between there, in between those 2 little yellow things. And this is the sensor switch. This is essentially the sensor switch. So that, I'm shaking. A little rocker goes in there, a little toggle. Press that way. And I think they said the way it works is it has a 5-volt constant. And then when it, one switch would be like a lower voltage. So let me like 2 point something volts. And then once it senses that, once it presses that, it drops the voltage to that low voltage, and it tells it, hey, it tells the ECU, oh, that's a demand for a downshift or whatever. So it gets that voltage drop, and it goes, hey, I need to downshift. And the ECU does this thing, it blips and releases the load from the engine, and then with you putting pressure on the system, it slips into the next gear. When I say pressure on the system, like physical pressure on the shift rod, which is putting pressure on the shift forks inside the gearbox. And then because you blip the throttle all of a sudden and you release the load from the engine, the torque going through the gearbox, it allows the shift fork to push the gear into the next slot, or push the cog over to slot into the next gear. Similarly, for the other shift, to say go up, it'll go, oh, here's the 5-volt read. It'll read like 7 volts or something. I could be wrong on the numbers. I don't quite remember what I read, but essentially that's how it knows. So one is a drop in voltage, and the other, it's an increase in voltage, and it goes, hey, the voltage increased. I need to interrupt the ignition just momentarily to unload the torque going through the gearbox and allow the forks, which you pushing on the lever, to slip into the next gear. So those are the 3-wire system. Like one is like 5-volt, one is ground, and the other is basically the signal, which changes the voltage. This thing gave up at the track. I'm not really sure why, because it seems to be working fine. However, not only did it give up the ability to shift, but it was also sending a sporadic signal. So I'd be on the throttle, and I guess the vibration or something, it would just cut. But yeah, that's the simple quick shifter that's made by Domino, Italy. That comes stock on, I think, all the Italian bikes. So this died on me, and I went to a strain gauge system from Cardona, which doesn't have any moving parts. So when they talk about no moving parts in a strain gauge system, yeah, they're talking about this whole setup, because it doesn't have, where did the rod go? Oh, I lost it. Oh, I definitely lost it. Where'd I put it? I think it's down here. Yeah, no moving parts. So like I said, this is a threaded rod that your shift rod goes through, and then there's a spring behind here, and that's how the magic happens. So when they say no moving parts in a strain gauge, that is what they're talking about. wonder if I can pop this off. Ooh, all right, that works. Too big. All right, cool. Okay, there's that. And then, how's it come out? Line the pliers. Okay, so with the spring out, that moves. So that's a pull, and that's a push. It's not pushing. It's probably blocked by me messing with stuff. See if I can bang out this. Yeah, it's not coming out. But yeah, you get the idea. I wonder if I need to cut that off. Or does this screw out? Oh, I can pull the plunger out. So boom. I just did that. And I pulled the plunger out. So there's the plunger. So now I should be able to slide this out. So there you go. All right, a spring on both ends. So it sits like this. All right, so that's there, and this is on the back, and this is threaded in. So when you pull, the spring hits that and compresses that way. Well, that way. And when you push, it compresses against that part, and this goes like that. And all those two together move that thing, and that sits in between. Let's probably do it that way. So there's the little yellow switch, and it sits in there like that, and it just pushes and pulls. So if I let's get my fingers all dirty. So sits like that, and that's how the stock shifters work. So moving parts, lots of moving parts. I'm not sure where the failure occurred, but I'm assuming it's in here because this looks very fragile. So I don't know if maybe one of these switches went bad, but I don't know. It died on me at the track. So yeah, that's how the stock quick shifters on the RSV4 and Ducati V4s and I think V2s work. The Domino quick shifter sensor. Lots of moving parts, so then things fail. So if you didn't know, now you know. There's been various updates for this part over the years as far as Aprilia is concerned. I think Ducati has used the same updates from Domino. But yeah, lots of moving parts, more stuff to fail. This is not the most sturdy setup. I can see why this could like vibrate loose and fail. I mean, who knows how strong those micro switches are. So I guess I crashed and it landed on the shift side. And now after I crashed Friday morning, and then Sunday afternoon, my quick shifter just gave up. So at least it allowed me to finish Friday, all Friday morning, before lunch, all of Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, and all Sunday morning before it decided to fail on me. And like I said, not only was it not shifting, it was shifting up. Sorry, it was auto blip down worked, but the upshift wasn't working. And then in addition to that, like I said, maybe about 5,000 RPM, the bike would start cutting and sputtering, which told me that somehow this was sending a shift signal to the ECU and just cutting the power. So yeah, that's how these work. Pretty simple. So simple it's easy to fail. But yeah.